them tossed to the ground. In a statement, the OPP saying the Mace's OPP saying officers stopped to speak to
what the fuck are you doing, bud? He's 12 years old.
The OPP's commissioner wants a transparent investigation, so he's asking Peel
Police
to investigate the officer while he is on administrative leave.
Transparent like my skin, eh?
When the province announced those new police measures, the OPP were one of the few detachments that said they would the rules, although a short time later, the commissioner of the OPP put out a tweet saying
the OPP is the only police force directly under the control of the province.
I'm Omi Qureshi.
Well, the Ontario Hockey League has cancelled its 2020.
The Ontario Provincial Police are employed by the province of Ontario. All the other police forces. So when you go to Queen's Park, it's kind of like how the Canadian Forces protects Trudeau. The OPP protects Queen's Park, and that's why they're willing to walk up and shove 12-year-old kids to the ground because they're big, tough guys.
With increasing COVID cases, made it impossible to play. Coming up in
when they tell you the numbers for the day, later on they'll remind you about the Rogers service outage yesterday, day before, and they're going to tell you that's the reason why the numbers aren't right, because some hospitals were reporting them on paper. It gets interesting.
Challenging. While all those Subarus with symmetrical,
you know, in a morbid fascination kind of way.
Creation.
Wood, our special gift to the world. Enjoy Subaru's all-weather drive event with great rates on 2021 Subaru Foresters. Go online to build and price yours and adventure on in all weather.
Now, the City News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price won't change at midnight. It'll stay at $1.30.
I don't know what this is, but I'm guessing it's a battery.
Time 140.
It says 3 or 50 million.
Breaking news.
Panasonic.
On 680 News.
Doug Ford says schools are safe, but it's not true. 1 in 4 Ontario schools have active COVID-19 cases. Ford didn't do what experts told him to do to keep kids safe. Now the virus is out of control and we're facing school closures again. Half measures don't work. It's time to make vaccines available to all educators and frontline workers. Schools won't be safe until transmission is under control.
The transmission is...
Teachers Federation of Ontario.
Hi, it's Fido. When it comes to streaming your favorite music, don't let your data plan hold you back. Get a data boost from Fido with 5 hours of unlimited data at no extra cost. That's 5 extra
So I don't know what's
hours of
inside
data
this,
every
but it's
month.
coated
When
in
you need
plastic.
it. It's enough to
And this
stream your favorite
one is
plan
also a
for 5
big heavy
long
chunk
ones
of lead.
aside, or maybe one really long one.
That's just this
All
morning.
choice and data plans, only with Fido. Visit a Fido store or Fido.ca for details.
So I already got another tin like this full.
Time 141.
Time for traffic and weather together all at once. Here's Carrie Pruskus. This report is brought to you by CIBC. Watch out for a pylon on the 407 westbound approaching Goreway. It's in lanes 2 and 3 from the left. That just came in from a traffic spotter. I've notified 407 control, so they're going to be sending somebody through. Again, that's westbound 407 approaching Goreway.
Wow.
A couple of ramp closures.
I have 2 more of these.
Southbound Dufferin and
I'm going to count this one as full.
407 are closed, and that is for construction.
Real close to
on the
full.
403,
So all lead, if they're not all lead, there's so many of them that are lead, you can't fuck around with it. It's all got to be treated as hazardous.
Eastbound on the 401, that's busy from Winston Churchill to east
I
of
got 3 of
Mississauga
these.
Road, but it's moving well, making your way across the city, and looks good into the Durham region as well. If you're traveling city streets, we have a closure of Lawrence. It's shut down in both directions between Anglemount and Glenmount. That's east of the Allen to west of Bathurst. All lanes of Lawrence closed through that stretch for a fire investigation. And some hydro work eastbound on Rosedale Valley Road at Bayview. Crews are working in the left turn lane, so a bit busy there. Open a CIBC Smart account and get $300. Plus, pay no monthly fee for up to 12 months. That's everyday smart from CIBC. Conditions apply. Learn more online. Now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
That's you pay money to have these clipped on your rims.
Guaranteed high 7 degrees cooler than yesterday. Tonight, cloudy through the evening, snow overnight, 2 to 3 centimeters. The low -1. It'll feel like -5. And for tomorrow, could collect another 1 or 2 centimeters. Most of the snow in the Niagara region
the last few
and
months
south
of
of us.
street sweeper
High
blades.
tomorrow, only
Considering
3
there's been no
degrees.
street
For
sweepers
today,
out
the
for a year.
guaranteed high 7.
It's over
overcast right now in downtown Toronto and a temperature of 6 degrees. We've got overcast conditions out at Pearson and 5. And keep in mind, Toronto and the GTA are bracing for some nasty weather. A winter weather travel advisory has been issued from Environment Canada. Expecting that soon will begin.
It's been issued by Environment
Canada. Time 1:43.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute, live for the Business Center. Here's Chris McCusker. And Sarah, we do have a losing session. Still the NASDAQ, the big loser. It's down by 1.2%. The S&P is lower by 38, and the Dow is down by 305. Well, the TSX is off by 182, 19,022. Earlier today, it did slip below that 19,000 mark, so it's a little off the low for the day. We do have gold higher by $8, 17.78. Oil is down 83 cents, 62.55. And the Canadian dollar lower by about half a cent now, 79.32 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Being active is better than being reactive. Dynamic Funds doesn't just take what the market gives. Ask a financial advisor about active management and learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
As one of Canada's largest providers of home comfort solutions, Reliance is also providing ways to help homeowners reduce their environmental impact. We offer many greener options, including heat pumps for more efficient heating and cooling, tankless water heaters that heat only the water you use, and water purifiers to help reduce the use of plastic water bottles that often end up in landfills. This Earth Day, think about how you can do your part and visit RelianceHomeComfort.com to learn more about how together we can create a more comfortable tomorrow.
When you donate your unwanted vehicle to Kitty Car, all proceeds stay in Canada. That means your spring cleaning.
Got Lawrence closed both ways east of the Allen. That's for a fire investigation. And we've got crash cleanup still ongoing at Warden and Lawrence. It's time to get road ready. Canadian Tire's Big Spring Tire Sale is on now. Ends April 29th. Conditions apply. Details online. I'm Lori Turkov with Global News Radio 640 Toronto Chopper Traffic.
Alpine.
Toronto's new.
Que vous avez créé donc à Radio Centre.
Cloudy sky in downtown Toronto. It's 6 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Parrott.
And I'm Steve Roberts. Here are the top stories right now.
Toronto Public Health says it will close workplaces with 5 or more COVID-19 cases. The Section 22 order follows Peel Region, making the exact same announcement this morning. The new measure means any businesses in Toronto and Peel with an outbreak will now have to shut down for 10 days. After a week of daily COVID infections in the 4,000s, Ontario is reporting a lower case count today at 3,469. But hospitalizations just keep growing in this province with a record of 773 patients in the ICU right now. And a winter weather
assuming they all reported yesterday, which
and the GTA. We could get anywhere from 4 to 8 centimeters by noon tomorrow. That snow is expected to start sometime overnight.
You're fucking nuts! It's like 3 inches and change. Okay, so I told you before, the numbers are going to be underreported because of the Rogers outage. She just said if there's an outbreak, you'll be required to close. No. If you have 5 or more cases in the previous 14 days, you have to close for the next 10 days. Not the day you get the notice. That's day 0. The next 10 days. 5 or more. In a long-term care home or a hospital, if there's 2 cases in 14 days, that's an outbreak. They're going with 5.
Sweet, beautiful mud.
Some find us challenging.
While all those Subarus with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive revel in our creation.
Mud, our special gift to the world. Enjoy Subaru's all-weather drive event with great rates on 2021 Subaru Foresters. Go online to build it.
At some point, I bought 2 packs of matches and stuck them in here and forgot I had them. I better rethink that plan. So I had matches.
You're in command.
Well, then we must be heading to my seaside home.
Then what?
Then getting up to go snorkeling in my private cove. That was one wild ride. Tuesday's lot of
He thinks he's going to get a yacht and a private cove for...
You can dream to the max.
Whatever, not nearly enough money.
Welcome back to Jeff MacArthur on.
Oh, and they're going to talk bullshit about 420 all day on 680 because they're stupid.
Okay, this is unfortunate timing. This is a really, really bad segue. I mean, right after we have one of the top public health officials in the province, really in the country on, and thanks to Dr. Lawrence Lowe for joining us this afternoon, we're going to talk burgers. We're going to talk hamburgers. Oh, well,
burgers.
That's the way it all unfolded. That's the way it happened.
Want. That's a check. And
Okay, so I guess my timing's off. I'm trying to bring you anything useful. So yeah, they're either going to do the update at 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 11 in the morning. You're right. If you've been following along, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh dear. As soon as I sit down, I'll have to get up again. It doesn't matter. I'm just fuck now. So what did I find today? 1 battery and three wheel weights. Or 2 wheel weights, or two batteries and 3 wheel weights, or some shit. Every fucking day I find that shit. What I find interesting is how many street sweeper brushes I still find. When the street sweepers, I know it kind of speaks to the quality of the metal, because it does it a year later, it hasn't rusted away. You get like 1 chance to tell us about these hamburgers, but oh, you just lost your chance because the radio's malfunctioning. Oh, right. COVID random road checks. Right. Everybody, so far, everybody's popped up trying to come up with weird reasons that the charter doesn't apply to you and your group because of COVID, and then they can't explain scientifically why. Oh, that was interesting. What's happening? Yeah, 75.
I felt like my 5-year-old
75 millimeters
self
is 3 inches.
in those moments,
right?
I guess. You know, when this really pure sense of wonder and excitement. That's exactly how I felt. And it's the kind of discovery that you dream of making one day when you're this little dinosaur fanatic at school.
The paleontologist who rediscovered the Spinosaurus, Dr. Nizar Ibrahim. Thanks for listening. I'll look back same time tomorrow.
Definitely see some people doing this, but no, I'm out. I maybe I would try to grow my hair out for a bit, but that's as far as I would go.
See, here's the thing for me. This all depends upon how good the burger is.
Right, but if it's
I've not had the Farmer Boy's burger. Like, is it a freshly pressed patty? Is it homemade?
2021 Canadian Car of the Year. Discover performance with an available turbocharged engine in the CX-5 or CX-30. And discover luxury with CX-9's sophisticated 7-passenger seating. Right now, receive 0.5% purchase financing on select models and up to a $1,000 Mazda bonus on select new Mazdas. Contact your local Mazda dealer or visit Mazda.ca for details.
680 News Time, 1:51.
Time for traffic and weather together all at once. Here's Carrie Pruskus. This report is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Westbound 403 is jammed heading past Mavis. There's a collision just west of Mavis blocking the right lane and the ramp lane, so that backup starts as you approach Mavis. Again, this is on the westbound 403, so just be aware of that. The rest of the drive on the westbound 403 looks good. Westbound 407, we have some construction. The southbound Dufferin ramp to the westbound 407 is closed, and the northbound Appleby ramp to westbound 407 also shut down. That's for construction. No delays, but watch out for some debris on the westbound 407 as you're approaching Goreway. It was reported in lanes 2 and 3. A pylon of notified 407 control. Westbound on the 401, that's a smooth drive across the GTA. Eastbound on the 401, not too bad. Still busy from east of Winston Churchill to east of Mississauga Road. But it's up to speed and making your way across the city. It looks good into the Durham region as well. On city streets, Toronto Transportation is reporting that Lawrence is closed in both directions east of the Allen. It's shut down from Englemount to Glenmount, and that is for a fire investigation. Switch to Desjardins Insurance and save up to 35% on home insurance when you buy.
All right, so I did not capture it live, and I can't figure out how to download these damn traffic reports anymore. Used to be able to. Tow truck towing a vehicle down the highway. Vehicle catches fire while it's being towed. How often does that happen?
The west wind will drop to -1 for the low. Cover the plants. It'll feel like -5. Also has snow overnight, 2 to 3 centimeters, and could collect another 1 or 2 centimeters tomorrow. It will be cloudy for the afternoon. Higher snow amounts for the Niagara region. Tomorrow's high just 3 degrees. Thursday, mainly cloudy, windy, and 7. That's our guaranteed high today, 7.
Right now in downtown, it's overcast and 6 degrees, overcast and 5 out of Pearson. And keep in mind, a winter weather travel advisory in effect from Environment Canada now for pretty much the entire GTA, along with the city of Toronto. 6:80 news time, 1:53.
If I had a Corolla, I'd crank up the Apple CarPlay and do a girls' weekend. Maybe we'd stop by at that pottery shop again. What if that cute guy Mark still works there?
Mom? Oh, yes, sweetie. Who's Mark?
Red Tag days are back. Stop dreaming about a new Toyota and start driving one. Lease a 2021 Toyota Corolla L for $49 weekly.
So they already told us the premiere is not at Queen's Park. I'm betting we're not going to get an update. Watch, we'll get an update, but we won't hear from him again for like 2 weeks. So this disappear.
Newsmakers.
To getting the answers to what you need to know about COVID-19.
And answers about your job and finances.
If you have a question, ask it at 680news.com/answers.
680 News gets the answers.
We're in this together.
680 News, working for you.
Well, the province says some pharmacies are about to begin offering COVID-19 vaccinations for people aged 40 and over, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 20 Shoppers Drug Mart locations are taking part, 16 of which are in the hotspots of Toronto, Peel, and York regions. Some will begin the 24/7 vaccinations as early as tomorrow. And a judge has ruled that a key piece of evidence at the trial of a teen accused of sexually assaulting 2 students at St. Michael's College School is admissible. A 22-second video of the incident that occurred in a football locker room in 2018 has been shown in court. The accused teen has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts each of gang sex assault with a weapon, and assault with a weapon. The judge says the prosecution fulfilled its obligation to authenticate the video. The case has been adjourned to Thursday because the accused teen is sick. Well, coming up in business news in 60 seconds, our loonie drops by almost half a cent.
680 news time, 1:55.
It's the Jeep No Limit sales event, where you can enjoy big discounts on the original SUV, the one that continues to define and redefine what an SUV can be. The most awarded SUV ever. Right now, enjoy up to $7,350 in discounts on select Jeep models, plus $2,500 in loyalty cash for select owners. The Jeep No Limits event, where adventure has no limits. On now. See your Jeep dealer for details.
Oh no, there's water everywhere.
Dad, a pipe broke. My poor carpet.
We need a plumber.
So remember, the kid that recorded what happened and tried to turn it over to the police, whatever, was the one that got not the one that's on trial now, but initially the one that got charged. They did the same thing with the Danzig Street shooting. One of the people that was targeted was the first person to get charged. They always do this. They go after the easiest person to go after, because of course the victim will somehow have to show you who the suspect is, and if they don't, it's their fault for getting killed in public or whatever the fuck. It's ridiculous how things work with it. So that video, they tried to have someone else get in trouble for making the video because of somebody else, some other people. There's only one. It's gang sexual assault, and there's one on trial. They charged the victim of a gang rape for recording the fact that it happened. That's how Toronto does things. That's how Toronto police are. That's how white cops are. That'll never change. That'll never change. Still didn't get my joint on. I got it. Oh, CP and CN are competing for a Kansas City Southern
% growth this year. Our view is it's going to be close to 6%. They might not go all the way up to that kind of number. But coupled with the big outlay spending that we've seen from the federal government and how well the economy has done up to this point and how strong the housing market is, we think we're going to see a big upgrade in the Bank of Canada's growth outlook. I'm also looking for them to continue dialing back the amount of bonds that they're buying. We think that they will taper.
Now, the TSX is down 180 points, 19,024.
If I remember correctly, it's one of them's bidding 25 billion, the other's bidding 30 billion.
The price for gold right now up by $8, $17.78. And then oil is down 83 cents, $62.55. A U.S. House Judiciary Committee has passed a bill which could expose OPEC to antitrust lawsuits over production cuts. It's not clear if this bill will become law or
wow, you guys are smart.
Teeth.
You're going to sue your drug dealer. That's a very American thing to do. It's been done.
In the U.S., we've got losses there as well, with the Dow down 300 points, the S&P off by 36, and the NASDAQ down by 146. There are some stocks moving higher today that include shares in IBM, which hit a one-year high, 139.77. Right now, that stock up by 3.7% after the company reported its biggest revenue growth since 2018 in its first quarter. I can also tell you that Bitcoin is a little lower today, sitting at 55,994. The all-time high on Bitcoin, 64,869.
And where can you trade that in exactly? Where are you getting this price reported from? Closed transactions or just people telling you what they want for it? Because those aren't the same thing.
With the new Genesis GV80, the only seat that can compare to.
He drives many SUVs, but never more than one at one time. Well, the whole world is stupid, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's see. The Peel police are under investigation.
Ontario's COVID-19 vaccine plan is helping to stop the spread and save lives. Until we're all vaccinated, we need to stay the course.
Remember, I'm your street sweeper, garbage man, and firefighter, dentist, bus driver, and mail delivery person. No, not yet. Not all of those things yet, but we're coming real close. We're checking off boxes on the list here.
Or call 1-800-999-6488 for assistance in 300 languages. Paid for by the Government of Ontario. Take a look at some regional weather.
It's a poorly formed sentence.
Right now.
We don't need help in 300 languages. We need help in possibly one or maybe two out of your 300 languages.
Downtown Toronto, it is cloudy and 6 degrees.
300.
Watch never stops. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto.
I mean, a municipal government that can speak 300 languages anywhere else in the world.
Breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, the 20th of April. I'm Steve Roberts.
And I'm Sarah Parrots. Here's what's making news this hour.
Any workplace in Peel or Toronto with 5 cases of COVID in the last couple of weeks can expect to be shut down. Both governments issuing a new section
to embellish every sentence in detail.
Where is the Premier?
He's been working on the vaccination efforts virtually full time.
Ford, again, not a Queen's Park.
He's in Algonquin Park in his Escalade smoking hash.
A record number of COVID-19
Drinking
patients
a
are being
Laker.
treated in Ontario hospitals. This as we see the first below 4,000 daily case count.
He would drink the Alberta vodka, but the Lakers brewed in Ontario.
Officer and a child on a scooter that landed the kid on the ground sparks outrage. Is now being investigated by Peel police while the
Landed the kid. That is the 4th time they've tried to rephrase it as the kid just sort of ended up on the ground. It's not clear if the officer threw him to the ground or he just tried to wrestle away the scooter and the kid just sort of fell on the ground on his own. 4 different versions of this story I've heard where the kid just magically hit the ground on his own.
News time 2:01.
All right, now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
You guys are
This report
pussies.
is brought to you by Hickory Dickory Decks. Westbound 403, the collision west of Mavis just cleared away, so delays are quickly easing, but it's still a slow go on the westbound 403.
It puts things in perspective. George Floyd was what, looked from the pictures. I haven't watched the videos. Why would I? People glorifying the death of another nigger killed by a white cop. Look! The whole world's watching, and it's so horrible, and we can't do anything. Fuck you! I'm not watching. George Floyd was like what? You looked about twice the size of one of those cops. Let's see. Some of these guys that look like they're reaching for guns. You look at me. You don't know what you're thinking. This could be a crackhead gang member, drug dealer. We don't know what the fuck this guy's on. He looked like he got 3 or 4 fucking sets of bodies out in the woods somewhere. Look at a 12-year-old kid. In your brain, you walked up to a 12-year-old kid. You're a uniformed police officer. Like, you're on duty uniformed police. Like, there's no benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, this was the weekend at some theme park and you were drunk. No, this is like ridiculousness. Peel regions like that. They've been caught on video beating up teenagers and stealing their beer. Yeah, big tough guys. Big tough guys. Come down here and fuck around. Now the problem is you got this gang thing going on with the Toronto police. I already won't see you, which is ridiculous in and of its own self. So Toronto police for decades been bringing cocaine in from Jamaica through Pearson. Pearson's located in Peel Region. The police you deal with at the airport are Peel Region cops. Now, I'm not talking the feds. That CBSA is a different thing. The Toronto police smuggle shit right through. They don't piece off Peel Region. Well, they got this beef back and forth. They're always arresting each other for fucking DUIs and weirdo shit, or not arresting each other, or whatever the case may be. But you're all a bunch of fucking tough guys, man. A bunch of fucking pussies.
Teamed up to announce today these new Section 22 orders to do just that. Each region has an Amazon fulfillment center that could be covered by this, among other large employers. Now, the idea is
Amazon. I keep repeating it. Did they pay you to say that? No, because you're stupid if you're saying it for free.
Now, the only exemptions here are going to be for essential workplaces like healthcare settings and schools, but there is an option to close down only part of a workplace, a physical workspace, if you can section off a problem area and leave some of the other aspects of the facility.
But you're not going to account for the ventilation, are you? They're all going to be sucking back the same air, but you're going to pretend it's different.
Post-sorting plant, that sort of situation. The new Section 22 order from Peel comes out today. Toronto's order will be posted and will come into effect by this Friday. Reporting live, I'm Mark Douglas.
Now in Queen's Park today, it appears the Ford government could be changing its stance on paid sick days.
Well, after not budging an inch on this issue, it sure sounds like the Ford government is ready to announce some sort of paid sick day program. Health Minister Christine Elliott.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yesterday,
it's not a matter of public health. It's federal. It's not provincial. Don't do it.
Program, and so those gaps still remain, and that is what we are going to be addressing.
Free Party leader Mike Schreiner says he's.
And what about all the people that just got here looking for work and they won't qualify for the first 90 days or whatever the case may be, and they'll still be going to work sick?
That the government has put its own ideology and politics ahead of the health and safety of workers.
Meantime, no Ford at Queen's Park again today. Deputy Premier Elliott, where is the Premier?
He's been working on the vaccination efforts virtually full time.
I'm Richard Southern.
Ontario has a lower COVID case count today after a week of daily numbers topping 4,000.
Wait.
But the positivity rate remains high and hospitalizations continue to climb. 680's Irene Precklett joins us live.
Incomplete reporting.
Irene. Sarah, after 6 days in a row of more than 4,000 new daily cases, today below that 3,469. But the testing positivity rate still near a record at 10%.
You really think it dropped 1,000 cases?
360 people hospitalized with COVID-19. 773 of those in the ICU.
Where's the caveat?
37 of those on the ventilator. Those are all records, and they were just previously set yesterday. And just a month ago,
all of those are records, but somehow the case counts are down.
We now have more than that in the ICU alone. Anthony Dale is the president of the Ontario Hospital Association. He tells me the
association is a club for businesses.
So the situation is the most serious it's ever been, certainly in the history of our modern healthcare system.
Remember when I said police association?
Is the worst civil emergency I would.
Ontario Association Chiefs of Police. Think about it.
In Canadian history.
Of today's new cases, 1,074 are in Toronto, 775 in Peel. Reporting live, Irene Precklett, 680 News.
Well, the province now saying that some pharmacies will soon begin offering 24/7 COVID vaccinations for people over the age of 40. Now, 16 of 20 participating pharmacies are in Toronto, Peel, and York region, and some will begin their 24/7 vaccinations as early as tomorrow.
So they again didn't mention that the Rogers outage was given as a reason why the numbers are unreported.
Participating locations first, just to check to see whether or not they're offering vaccines by appointment or a walk-in, or perhaps both.
Environment Canada has issued a winter weather travel advisory for tonight and tomorrow morning. It covers a big chunk of southern Ontario, including Toronto and the GTA.
I love this, but I wouldn't live anywhere else.
4 to 8 centimeters are forecast for the GTA.
We've now gone over this news loop twice, the 10-minute news loop twice, and I'm still, oh yeah, it's going to snow tonight or tomorrow.
This evening and around noon tomorrow.
680 News Time 207.
We have UV warnings and heat warnings and frost warnings on the same fucking week.
After an incident involving an officer in Gravenhurst. And 680's Mullen Qureshi is following the story for us. Joining us live with more on what exactly happened and some viral content, Mullen, with this as well.
Yeah, it's a video that was taken on Sunday, Steve, outside what appears to be the YMCA in Gravenhurst. You can see a kid on a scooter talking to or being confronted by a couple of police officers. And after a few seconds, that kid is tossed to the ground as the officer wrestles the scooter away from him. Now, in a statement, the OPP saying it was a member of the Bracebridge OPP, saying officers that stopped to talk to a group of young people who weren't social distancing or wearing masks. Skate parks are closed because of the stay-at-home order, saying that
they were social distancing, and when you're outdoors, you're not required to wear a mask anywhere. Nowhere. You're not required to. They were social distancing. They're also not required to because you can't say for sure they're in their own bubble or not. They're a bunch of kids. Like, it's presumed that they already know each other if they're playing with each other, right? They're going to play with you. Your job is to stay out of their bubble, stupid.
Individuals or vehicles. You can see the video at 680news.com. I'm Mullen Qureshi.
680 News Time 209.
This is 680 News.
What the fuck's wrong with you, bud? He's 12 years old. So, I haven't bothered looking for the video. I've seen enough of this shit. I already know. They're pussies. I'll come down here and say somebody. Hey, you want me to come out there? Yeah, I would. But I've been dealing with the Toronto police stealing money and things for so fucking long. I ain't got a car. So how about you guys work that out between you, and I'll pick the money out the pockets, whoever's left laying on the ground when you're done killing each other. Yeah, start dumping on my router, buddy. That's funny. So you're dumping on my phone too. Wow, it's 2 fucking minutes behind, bro. How many times?
Try stealing me, I'm burning down the whole wasp nest.
Some round table shit, dog. What up, God? Peace. Yeah.
Something like Michael Corley in the future in the morning, seeing holler for that work like a rooster. They screaming, I tell them that the shop's open. Boom with a pit by the door, because the lock's broken. Don't get your hand big off from bottom hot smoking. Listen to a killer when he tell you that he's not joking. Them rocks potent, got these fiends stiff. Fish got that mean whip. Run it all out Queen like Supreme Griff. For that triple beam stream, you know machine strip. In the stick up, get that clean grip, the magazines click. Got 5 steamed fish with a rice and peas. A couple righteous thieves, cypher while I like the trees. Them trifling bees, stinging niggas with their squad step. Try stealing me, I'm burning down the whole wasp nest. This Grams hoe, I came to pay the rent. You know it's hard out here for a pimp. Biz a living, dying, you know I swear to blowing on my bloodstream. Kipling the Kennedy, shout out to all my sub teams.
Yeah, CP and CN are both bidding on Kansas City Southern or something like that. One of them's bidding $25 billion, the other's bidding $30 billion or something like that.
Rappers pressing niggas like the 4th quarter. Long and short orders, holler, we can get you that. These puddles deep in money, watch when you step through that. Niggas in them full black suits, we let the men in black you. Trying to take in niggas that wouldn't question that we marksmen. Head to the field, that's just a test strapper. Leaving off the war, youngest won't roll, but left them back. Your girl says she waiting for you, but she won't though. Signing out of one love, it's great for the snow cones. We sober, we show out, better go where we go out. Considering it no last, we don't work for no boss. Pussy be splashed in it, later. Make us forget the pain through raw paper. Russell Simmons shooting like a mobile. Ask me and Charlie's mobile. Get around this bitch is global. Got a look and I'll be worldwide. I can see the bitches, you niggas. Just by looking in your girl's eyes. Man can't defend the crowd. You better rip the skin. Bring a ring of curious eyes. People with this thing of mine. Like a swindler. I can minimize. Looking for the little guys. This is legitimized. The generation but we here to stay. The challenge find us on a different day. And hot fires up into the play. Bust the food flies when it's Christmas Day. To live and die, and yo, I swear to flowing on my bloodstream. Tifflin the Kennedy, shout out to all my thug team. Using torch, being called, we the North Quarter. Serrano rappers pressing niggas like the fourth quarter. Gonna short orders, how we can get to that. These puddles deep in muddy, watch when you step through that.
Muddy York. It's horse shit and pig shit. That's why it's called Hogtown too. It's not mud, it's animal shit.
Today, the NASDAQ was down by 1.5%.
Welcome to Mi'kmaq Matters, a podcast about Mi'kmaq people, politics, land of water. I'm Glenn Wheeler.
And 62.46, and the Canadian dollar lower by 44/100, 79.34 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Being active is better than being reactive. Dynamic Funds doesn't just take what the market
Living Mi'kmaq in Donald Trump's US of A. This week we take a summer trip to visit our Mi'kmaq relatives across the border in the state of Maine. I'm Glenn Wheeler, and this is Mi'kmaq Matters, a podcast about Mi'kmaq people, politics, land of...
Yeah. GSC. CH.
Should've never trouble, and trouble never trouble you. Should've never trouble, and trouble never trouble you. Never trouble you.
There's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. My rusty outside said he seen this shit from day one. Politicking, spilling out my conscience. Young nigga, where the hit up badness? We do this shit regardless. Keys to your garden, homie, what you guarding? Picking up my checklist.
Damn, son, what? I ain't fucking with no cops.
New York niggas is out of here. What up, nigga? Niggas smell that.
When it comes to money, I'm at these screws. My niggas rob niggas and they bring me they jewels. I used to ask God for things, but I would never get it. Now I just steal it and ask God for forgiveness. You worry about the wrong man. I'm the shooter. Give a man an inch and he think he the ruler. There's no I in team, there is a me. American dream to believe it, you gotta be a slave. I know it's bad, but I'm high anyway. Eat healthy, stay fit, die anyway. Stay talk to God, try to pray, but I don't get it. Cause when God talk back to me, they say I'm schizophrenic. I don't talk shit, I pull up pistols like a ventriloquist. Never see my lips move. Throw money up, hell yes, pretty bitch. Back and even go skinny dipping. I started with nothing and still have most of it. I'm pulling out hammers like jumping Jehoshaphat. I can't remember the last time I got something. This doesn't decoration, nigga, so stop fronting. It's sticky finger, I'm maniac depressive. I'm passive aggressive. You better spell the message. You know who the best is. You better have your best. I'm good, big, black, and ugly. I call that bitch precious. I sweat on my nose. They say that I'm an evil, bro. I'm a walker. I see things, a dream of color. You think it can't happen till you got flesh. You're supposed to make it right. Don't believe me, 3 laughs.
We keep it clean with the whips, clean up with the guns, stash all the hundreds.
It's a marching band.
Johnson.
communication screw-ups at
Become the last of the time bridge. Twin hammers look like the Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French girl wave, you can remind me of mac and cheese. It is what it has to be. I'm killing out who's after me. They have to see me rich, and I swear it wasn't financially. Like who we frontin' for? They flying like there's a chaplain. These bitches couldn't marry a guy. There was a Magdalene. My strap like a little bro with tagalong. It's these instrumentals we got with bragging on. It's rose with beer grill class riches we drag them on. The nigga with the gate and segment was they were dragging on. The Megatron, man in Lebanon. We were slapping that back and forth like a tether. Used to live on French Street.
The administration's been talking with state and local leaders nationwide.
There's a range of conversations about how to ensure that no matter what the outcome, there is space for peaceful protest.
Aides and officials say
What are you talking about? Meaning, all these niggers are going to be angry no matter what, and they will be violent at their protests. So far, there hasn't been one violent protest by black people.
to help mediate disputes.
And they're saying these white people will be allowed to have their KKK marches because they have the right. They have the benefit of the. Look at how many pictures you find of white people at protests trying to pull out a gun, and the police go, "Excuse me, sir."
Sagar Magani, Washington.
And the estate of Kobe Bryant is going to be ending the NBA star's relationship with Nike.
Nike signed Kobe.
And so, again, these companies who are trying desperately to adjust to a world where we can't physically get together, the last thing that they need is this sort of physical interruption of their communication.
The telephone is brand new.
Without a doubt. Tyler, really appreciate the time and enjoyed the conversation. Thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Very well.
What's the word?
Tyler
Andrew
Chamberlain is with the University of Ottawa. And we're back after these on 640 Toronto.
It's the Jeep No Limit sales event.
Because companies have feelings.
Yes. In a statement, Nike says while the contractual relationship.
Well, that's not real news.
In the Esplanade, bitches run the ship and make us film it like espionage. You know that's why they set
should have left that Satan shoes thing alone.
Jumping in shit so we win. Like connect for the cylinder, always a spin. I connect for it, right into the dome when I get it out the chest to Detroit rapper. When you going towards our music, maybe when we go on tour, it's all shootings. Like other shots got kicked, I gotta shoot it. Nigga, if you talk that talk, you gotta do it. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bridge. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bridge. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. The last of a dying
I'm the last of a dying breed. I uppercut these fucks in their chin and they fly with ease. I bleed what I have to bleed. This blood's what I have to see. Full fickle, sit with your fam. I call it Applebee's. Who the fuck trying to get stuck? Tell them ask for me, that match pack about to get struck. I brought the gasoline, I've never lost. I got OGs to get it back for me. Calm me down, calm with the crown. Call me your majesty, God. They try to handle me, not. No, I'll play that. The bullets in that gray Mac A-track, they go way back. A violent mob, top your mob, like where the safe at. With numbers on your head, you already covered in face tats, boy. Why they always trying to snake that, boy? Charlie got the defibrillator to shake that, boy. Forget about it, you turn me to Rocky ASAP, boy. I'm the last of a dying breed, they wanna break that, boy. Like, you bringing all that beef to the farm, my man's branded you. If you don't get respect in the streets, I can't stand with you. They tell you you a threat on the beat, your man's stamming you. The Benz is like a beast when it spins. Crash Bandicoot, pull up with a camera crew. Cannons in your face now. Anybody that's like
outside of the 401 as you head past Mississauga Road. That's pretty much it. Looks good on the westbound 401 across the GTA. Just getting an update from 407 Control. The southbound Dublin ramp to the westbound 407, that has reopened, but the northbound Appleby ramp
found out yesterday a Tesla battery will burn for 4 hours.
Because of some construction. On city streets, stay away from eastbound Rosedale Valley Road.
30,000 gallons of water will not put it up.
Completely jammed through that stretch. However, they're just in the process of reopening that left turn lane. It had been closed for some hydro work, but they're wrapping this up. So we should see some improvement in those delays eastbound Rosedale Valley Road. North of that, Lawrence is closed in both directions. East of the Allen, it's shut down from Engelmount to Brookview for a fire investigation. Looking for better results from your Google advertising? Switch to Search Kings, winner of the Google Premier Partner Customer Satisfaction Award. Your search is over. Let Search Kings help your customers find you. Now with the extended forecast,
I wonder what their Google rating
Strong
is.
gusty wind out of the west for us today. It's a cooler day than yesterday. The guaranteed high
It's 4.9.
will drop to
That's the funny thing.
-1 for the low. It'll feel like -5 overnight.
The plumbing and
Snow
heating
overnight,
guys, it's 5 stars. These guys, it's
and could
4.9.
collect another 1 or 2 centimeters for Wednesday morning with a strong wind tomorrow out of the north-northwest. Tomorrow's high just 3 degrees. It will be cloudy by tomorrow afternoon. We'll be finished with the snow. For Thursday, mainly cloudy, windy, and 7. That's our guaranteed high today, 7. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's cloudy and 6 degrees. Over at Pearson, cloudy and 4. 680 News Time, 2:23.
Would you like to own investment real estate? Hi, I'm Todd C. Slater, the Simple Investor, and for years we have educated thousands of investors with our Simple Seminar. Now, I would like to introduce the Simple Real Estate Investment Webinar on Thursday, April the 29th.
He said webinar, but he said seminar.
Find out who makes the best turnip.
I know who makes the best.
For more tools to help start the conversation, drugfreekidscanada.org.
Hidden hate. It exists in Canada, and our Asian communities continue to be the target of shocking violence and abuse. This Saturday, watch a Global News special as we help break the silence. Global News speaks with Jeremy Lin, former Toronto Raptor, and with former Governor General of Canada, Adrienne Clarkson.
What's wonderful about Canada is that it's capable of change.
Watch Hidden Hate, Anti-Asian Racism, a Global News special, Saturday at 7:30 on Global.
ForgetHallWealth.com. You can check out 640 Toronto.
Even whether it should continue to exist. While most observers say Elizabeth is unlikely to abdicate, she has already started to turn over more responsibilities to Prince Charles, her eldest son, who's 72. That process is likely to accelerate following Philip's death. Charles Ledesma, London.
And coming up just 60 seconds from now, we will have a look at the business world with what is going on with Chris McCusker, and that is just moments away.
I've got a craving for some McDonald's fries. Crispy. Go.
When are they ever crispy? You've got a craving. That implies there's an addictive substance in there.
Sunday download coupon at MrLube.com. I'm Lori Turcotte with Global News Radio 640 Toronto Chopper Traffic.
Physical gold and silver is the ideal investment for these turbulent times. Buy direct or in your RRSP or TFSA.
And it's the Greens who have the discipline. They're the ones that are on the path to power. Now, the Conservatives are still the most powerful force.
For every dollar that went to people that were supposed to get served, $20 went to people that weren't supposed to get it or something. And they're saying this is where hundreds of billions of dollars have shown up in savings accounts or some shit. The money doesn't add. The numbers don't add up. This is what they're saying.
Let's check into the Business Center with Chris McCusker. Chris?
Okay, Steve, let's say a bidding war is apparently playing out within Canada's big railways. CN Rail now offering $30 billion to buy U.S.-based Kansas City Southern. So that is about 20% or $5 billion higher than the offer from CP Rail last month. No matter how you slice it, this is still potentially the biggest deal in the industry in decades, creating a rail network from Canada to the U.S. to Mexico. One analyst actually expressing surprise at the second offer, given the healthy price that CP was already willing to pay. And let's remember the sort of overarching theme in all of this. These two Canadian railroads are longtime rivals. Now, right now, shares in CP Rail down 1.8%. CN Rail stock off by 6.3%, and then shares in Kansas City Southern down, up 16%, hitting an all-time high today of $299.51. The TSX is still in the red. It's down 189 points, 19,015. It's a little off the low for the day. It did slip below that 19,000 mark. The price for gold right now up by $7, $17.78, and then oil is down 93 cents, 62.45. The Canadian dollar lower by half a cent, 79.25 cents US. Now, many are still digesting yesterday's federal budget and what it means to Canada's economic recovery from the pandemic. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from the Bank of Canada, and interest rates are not likely to change. Doug Porter is chief economist at the Bank of Montreal.
They told us
One thing that they
a year ago.
can do
Not
is they
changing
can
them ever
shift
again.
the tone of their messaging. Early in the pandemic, and Governor Macklem was very clear about it. He suggested that interest rates were going he wanted to assure borrowers that interest rates were going to remain low for years. I think we're going to hear a change in tone. I think they will start to basically caution folks that rates are not going to stay at these kind of levels forever.
Now, in the U.S., the Fed is not expected to raise rates before 2023, and it would be somewhat strange if the Bank of Canada were to do that before the U.S. On Wall Street, we've got the Dow down by 332. The S&P is lower by 31 points, and then the
Bank
Nasdaq
of Canada already
is down
said they're
by
not raising
159.
it. They said it
So
before
still
the U.S. did.
Nasdaq,
Hold on.
the big loser in North America.
You're coming to
is
the
down
right
by
conclusion for the wrong
1.1%.
reasons, eh? That's
I also want to check Bitcoin because it's had a
Why?
rough couple of days. There was actually a so-called flash crash over the weekend, and it's little changed right now, 56,197. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Who are you? Max, professional dream coach. Where am I? Inside your dream helicopter. And since Tuesday's Lotto Max jackpot is an estimated $15 million.
It's announced to old age security.
You're at 15 million. But that's not enough to get a private cove and a helicopter and a mansion. No, it's not.
August, but starting next year, people who are receiving old age security and are 75 plus will get a permanent 10% increase. So that's worth about $766 more dollars per year in your pocket, and that will be indexed to inflation. So that'll go up over time as well, which is welcome from a lot of seniors who tend to have investments in low interest rate bearing investments, and with interest rates so low, that's really had a sort of pinch effect on their income.
All right, now let's talk about the deficit. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around this number and what it really means for all of us. $355 billion for the last year and projected to be $155 billion for the next year. Those are some really big numbers. How does this affect Canadians in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, when you take a look at the accumulated debt projected over the next 5 years, we're looking at $1.4 trillion. And the plan of the budget so far is we're going to tackle that by growing the economy fast enough so that we can manage the debt load. And that's great if it works. But, if we take a look at the history books, the last time we had significant debt loads, they have been followed by significant cuts as well. So if that plan doesn't work out, that means that there's a higher probability that we might see some more severe cuts like we've seen in the mid-90s when debts and deficits were out of control.
All right, there's our money expert, Preet Banerjee, on yesterday's federal budget, joining us earlier this morning on the morning show. And we're back after this here on 640 Toronto.
Some see challenges.
Sports 45. Rocky ride on equity markets. The Dow is down almost 350 points. Business at 15.
That's a good news time, 231.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Two scary Francis. This report is brought to you by Queensway Hyundai. We have a new problem on the 401 westbound. West of the 404 in the collectors, the left lane is now closed. It's because of a stalled vehicle. There is a tow truck on the scene, and this just happened. There's no delay, so just be careful here westbound 401, west of the 404 in the collectors. We have delays into Mississauga on the westbound 401, but it's not too bad. Just starting to get busy west of Mavis Express and collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. A minor delay on the eastbound 401 as you head past Mississauga Road. Eastbound on the QEW, the debris on the ramp to Trafalgar has been removed, so we're in great shape now on the eastbound QEW through Burlington, Oakville, and Mississauga. The eastbound Gardner is moving well. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, that's getting busy from Eglinton to north of Lawrence. And the northbound 427 is jammed approaching the 407 onto the Highway 7 ramp. Westbound 407, just keep in mind the northbound Appleby ramp to the westbound 407 is closed, and that is for construction. On city streets, it looks like eastbound Rosedale Valley Road at Bayview and hydro work has completely cleared away, so delays there have improved. Just saying this for Lawrence reopened but reduced to a single lane. That's Lawrence east of the Allen down to a single lane both ways for a fire investigation. Experience the Queensway Hyundai Advantage. 0% finance, 0.9% lease. Plus, don't pay for 90 days. Experience the advantages and book an appointment at queenswayhyundai.ca. Now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
A gusty west wind for us today. Our guaranteed high 7 degrees, about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. Tonight, cloudy through the evening, snow overnight, 2 to 3 centimeters. The low -1, it'll feel like -5. For today, the guaranteed high 7.
Overcast in downtown Toronto, 4 degrees, but it feels like -1. This is 680 News.
2 GTA public health units are moving forward with efforts to curb COVID-19 outbreaks in workplaces. This comes as the province appears a step closer to possibly providing real help in the way of paid sick days. We'll have more on that in just a moment.
But first, we begin our coverage with 680's Mark Douglas with the latest from Toronto and Peel. Mark.
James, 5 cases of COVID in 14 days is all it will take for a workplace to be closed in Toronto or Peel. Each government today announcing a new Section 22 order to close workplaces for 10 days under those circumstances. The chair of Toronto's Board of Health, Councillor Joe Cressy, says this can include essential workplaces, even if it means the essential workers they're protecting would not be doing their essential work.
If the supply chain is disrupted slightly, that is certainly unfortunate, but if it is in the cause of protecting the health of all, in helping to beat this third wave, then sometimes that is a necessary course of action.
Now, as for lost wages, Cressy says Dr. Eileen Davila and pretty much every other healthcare leader in Ontario has been calling for paid sick leave for a year now. The region of Peel is urging, but not ordering employers to pay some paid leave to their affected workers. Partial closes, where possible, are an option. Cressy did not want to name any specific workplaces that would be closed. He says Toronto and the region of Peel work together on these new orders. Peel's new Section 22 order is out today. Toronto's will be issued and in effect by Friday. Reporting live, I'm Mark Douglas.
At Queen's Park, it appears as if the Ford government is changing its stance on paid sick days. 680's Richard Southern joins us with the latest from the provincial legislature.
It certainly appears now like the Ford government is softening its stance and ready to cave on paid sick days. Here's Minister Christine Elliott.
It was clear yesterday with the budget that it was not going to be improved by the federal government. And so we are considering our alternatives now to deal with those gaps.
She wouldn't elaborate when asked to provide details. Meantime, the Premier was again nowhere to be seen. He hasn't been seen in public since Friday. We did find out, though, he's doing a virtual fundraiser on Thursday. So where exactly is he right now, Minister Elliott?
He's been working on the vaccination
Manitoba. I bet he's in northern Manitoba.
I'm just disgusted. The Premier seems to have time to hold $1,000 fundraisers, but he doesn't have time to come to question period.
I'm Richard Southern.
So a small sense of relief today as the province reports fewer new cases of COVID. However, hospitalization and ICU rates continue to climb. Your 680's Irene Franklin.
Ontario's reporting 3,469 new COVID-19 cases today and 22 additional deaths. The testing positivity rate 10%. Today is another record-breaking day in the province's hospitals. 2,360 COVID patients hospitalized, 773 of them in the ICU. 537 of those needing a ventilator. Anthony Dale is the president of the Ontario Hospital Association. He says the situation is the most serious it's ever been in the history of our modern healthcare system.
All signs are that the system is in enormous distress, and we will continue to do everything within our powers to make sure people get the access to the care they need. But it is remarkable. It's a remarkable challenge.
Dale says this will have a long-lasting impact on healthcare in the province. I'm Irene Precklet. You're with All News Radio 680 News. Bye-bye fruit tree blossoms. A winter weather travel advisory is now in effect for Toronto and the GTA. 680's Phil Martino joins us live with what we can expect from the weather tonight into tomorrow. Phil.
So, Jana, remember that snow shovel you put away? Go get it. Environment Canada says snow will move in late this evening. Snowfall amounts of 4 to 8 centimeters are possible by noon tomorrow. So that means your Wednesday morning commute may be impacted. According to Environment Canada, this advisory is due to a low-pressure system that's forecast to track south of the region tonight and tomorrow. Now, due to the uncertain track of the system and the warm ground temperatures, total snowfall amounts could change. Phil Martino, 680 News.
This is All News Radio 680 News. Starting tomorrow, some pharmacies in Ontario will be offering COVID vaccines 24/7.
The Ontario government, in collaboration with Shoppers Drug Mart, will offer round-the-clock vaccinations for people over the age of 40 at more than 20 pharmacy locations. And the majority are
somewhere
located
between
in
40 and 80
including
millimeters.
Toronto, Peel, and York region. And when more supply of the AstraZeneca shot arrives in Canada, the 24/7 vaccinations are expected to be expanded. The province is also working with pharmacies to offer walk-in services. For the time being, though, you are still advised to contact participating pharmacies to see what's available. A list of participating pharmacies can be found at ontario.ca/pharmacy COVID vaccine. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Do the pharmacists still count the pills with their bare hands?
The OPP commissioner is asking Peel Regional Police to investigate an incident involving an OPP officer in Gravenhurst. 680's Monica explains why.
In a video taken this past Sunday, you can see two officers confronting a young boy on a scooter outside what appears to be the YMCA in Gravenhurst when there is an altercation, and one officer appears to toss the boy to the ground.
What are you doing, bud? He's 12 years old.
In a statement, the OPP saying it was a member of the Bracebridge OPP, saying officers stopped to talk to a group of young people, none of whom were wearing masks or social distancing at the skate park that is now closed because of the stay-home order. Officers attempted to interact with the youths, which led to the physical confrontation. The OPP commissioner says to ensure transparency, he's requested Peel Police investigate the incident while that officer is placed on administrative duty. On Friday, when the province announced it was giving police increased
go
power,
up the line to like the
RCMP,
not
that said it would be enforcing those measures, but on the same day of the video, the commissioner tweeted his members would not be arbitrarily stopping individuals or vehicles. You can see the video at 680news.com. I'm Roman Qureshi.
Gas prices are next.
How does the municipal police force investigate provincial police force? It doesn't seem like that's any more transparent. Yeah, those are Ontario kids. What the fuck are you doing, bud? They'll fight back. They will fight back. You've seen what happens if you don't fight back. You get beat up by the cops anyway. Fuck it. Oh, keep your mouth shut? No. Take a picture, put it on the internet. Make that piece of shit famous. Oh, dear. They told us earlier that because of the Rogers outage yesterday, that some hospitals, were reporting their numbers on paper. They resorted to reporting on paper. Okay, well, and they stopped saying that, but the number didn't go up, so I'm not sure how tomorrow. Watch, it'll be high tomorrow. How many times have they done that?
Into us is lying face down. White boy, nice with a pen. This ain't no 8 Mile. We playing hopscotch in the spots where the body's traced out. Cause when you go on tour, it's all music. And baby, when we go on tour, it's just shootings. Drive-bys, your eyes wide shut, we gone Kubrick. See, we ain't really got all that talk, we just do shit.
Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a down bread. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. The last of a down bread. And every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. The last of a down bread. look like the Siamese. I got that beam from the Japanese. My French girl wavy, you can remind me of mac and cheese. It is what it has to be. I'm killing out who's after me. They have to see me rich, and I swear it wasn't financially. Like who we frontin' for? They flying like there's a trampoline. These bitches couldn't marry a guy. It was a Magdalene. My strap like a little bro with tagalong. It's these instrumentals we got with bragging on. It's rose with beer girl class ridges with dragon on. The nigga with the gate and Sega was they were dragging on. The Megatron, landing in Lebanon. We was slapping it back and forth like a tetherball. Used to live on French Street, right in the Esplanade. Bitches want to ship and make us film it like espionage. You know that's why they set for it. Like why you niggas ain't protect your neck for it? Chopping in shit so we win. Like connect for the cylinder, always a spin. I connect for it, right into your dome when I get it out the chest to joint rapper. When you go on tour, it's all music. Maybe when we go on tour, it's all shootings. Like other straps got kicked, I gotta shoot it. Nigga, if you talk that talk, you gotta do it. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a downbred. Why they try me? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a downbred. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. Yeah, I'm the last of a dying breed. I uppercut these fucks in their chin and they fly with ease. I bleed what I have to bleed. This blood's what I have to see. So fickle, sit with your fam. I call it Applebee's. Who the fuck trying to get stuck? Tell them ask for me. That match pack about to get struck. I brought the gasoline. I've never lost. I got OGs to get it back for me. Call me down, calm with a crown. Call me your majesty, God. They try to handle me, lot. No, I don't play that. The bullets in that gray Mac A-track. They go way back. A violent mob. Top your mob. Like where the safe at. Put numbers on your head. You already covered in face tats, boy. Why they always trying to snake that, boy? Charlie got the defibrillator to shake that, boy. Forget about it. You turn me to Rocky ASAP, boy. I'm the last of a dying breed. They wanna break that, boy. Like you bringing all that beat to the farm. My man's branded you. If you don't get respect in the streets, I can't stand with you. They tell you you a threat on the beat. Your man's scamming you. The Benz is like a beast when it spins. Crash Bandicoot. Pull up with a camera crew. Cannons in your face now. Anybody that's lying to us is lying face down. White boy, nice with a pen. This ain't no 8 Mile. We playing hopscotch in the spots where the body's traced out. Cause when you go on tour, it's all music. And baby, when we go on tour, it's just shootings. Drive-bys, your eyes wide shut, we gone Kubrick. See, we ain't really got all that talk, we just do shit. Why they try me, man? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a downbred. Why they try me, man? I wear my heart on my iron sleeve. I'm the last of a downbred. Like he just wanna go on tour and make music. I'm the last of a downbred. But every time you go on tours, it's all shootings. I'm the last of a downbred.
Mississippi reported 3 or 4. This will be bad. Bad. Everything's bad. Bad news. This is not a feel-good channel. If you were looking for a diversion, you gotta look somewhere else. This is bad news. Everything's gonna be bad.
You already know I'm pressing death like the Elvis passing. You know how I do. You can't categorize me. I seen the game front row. It was like Spike Lee. At your baby mama house is where I might be. She said she seen the video on my IG. Don't kill me, I'ma need ID. A nigga still on the run, so I don't need ID. I wanna make her put my bitch when I see Kylie. I'm about to change the name, I'm about to be Ali. But let me stop at this liquor store. I'm trying to stop at this liquor store. Checking what they got in store.
I've been checking all day, trying to find a way to get up out of this. I know that shit don't last long, either I be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to leave, trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock, this ain't how it's supposed to be.
Niggas know it's savage. When pushed on the shove, we gotta have it. And don't say a word about that thing that spits rapping. Niggas won't hesitate to put his face on the pamphlet. Your hustle's backed up. My hustle been doing backflips. SKs that fold out. Hollows been causing showouts. Rolling with Michelle. Been trapping out of a full house. My family mad as like though. We like herbivore. I never heard of y'all. Bullets, they could've murked me, bro. I'm behind that glass till my black non-shadows cause emotion in your life. Just like Black Lives Matter. I always knew that dreaming came easily. But now I'm having dreams that niggas keep putting heat to me. So I had to take the snub out the box, it was empty. So I had to take the slugs out the socks, FOTG. Niggas know the clan that I fuck with, believe me. It ain't nothing I start dumping. My strap costs 3 bands, shoot like I got 3 hands. Niggas know the deal when we pull up in like 3 bands. A voodoo man tryna shoot me, watch a heat jam, then beat the whole clip of my bullets, they gotta eat.
I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get about it. I know that shit don't last long. Either I be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to lead, trying to get up all these streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock. This ain't how it's supposed to be. I've been trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, fucking trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day. Penitentiary chances or a casket laid out. Them the only 2 ways the shit plays out. Picking fence floor and shit is wicked in the caged house. Gorillas in the cell picking they braids out. My nigga lock gun, and so is Young Sue, so is Fresh and Mars. Tell me who I'm supposed to run to when I'm in need of a shoulder. When I'm trying to be righteous, but this street life making me colder. Took the white Pyrex nights baked in a soda. Goons pop like you shaking a cola. Wasted a sober when the words out of time. No escaping them rollers. No room for error here. It's one mistake and it's over. But I'm trying to do this rap, that's my word card. Stuck between a dream and these fiends, I gotta serve drugs. 2 options, pick one, the choice is on you. Make sure it ain't the wrong move, it's grand.
Yeah, revolvers like cowboys, the French like Indians, and royalty like Englishmen. Christians still reading our Corinthians. Red still murders on the Islington. Every day's an incident. Try to talk to niggas, they ain't listening like so be it. They catch the places they was looking, but they don't see it. You see it. It's just the hoop that we pushing in that collegiate. Niggas want purple like camera, and I really mean it. Tell me I'm a genius. The way I tell these stories like I seen this. I add the hurrah, silver realist for the Libras. Fuck your horoscope, I got a horoscope. Put it on the top of the rifle with that Ferrari provoke. Never knew niggas was singing till they hit high notes. Wasn't playing ball in 9 to 5, suspension dope. Catch me in the trap house, still a minute I cash out. Sipping on Guinnesses, Heinekens, and
I've been
Dragon
trapping all day, trying to find a way to get about it. I know that shit don't last long. Either I be dead.
I guess it could classify as an Alberta clipper, although it actually originated a little bit further south. It's already brought snow as far south as Texas, Colorado, getting quite a bit, and there are freeze warnings for, well, I'd say about a third of the United States right now. So it's combination cold and, of course, that snow on the leading edge.
All right, and how unusual is this? I mean,
So
maybe
I know-
we've
I know
all,
I must seem
I don't know,
paranoid
kind of
or
been
paranoid.
lulled into a sense of spring security, if you will, if
Look at
that's
certain
even
issues
such a
and then-
thing, because, I mean,
I
the
didn't know there was a
temperatures have been like
freeze warning
15, 20 degrees
say,
some days over the
1/3,
last
2/3, whatever
couple
you
of
want.
weeks.
Yeah, and I've mentioned the garden, but also foliage is about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of schedule. So you're starting to get leaves appearing on trees. I know magnolia trees are almost in full bloom, and this is all, it's not exactly a good combination when you have snow.
Grapes are
So
more
the
basic. They're
difference
not doing
between 2 to 4 centimeters like I'm expecting and that 10 centimeter mark is pretty big. If you get more than 10 and you have leaves on the trees, you're going to start to see some power outages and some of those limbs coming down. And I think that's going to be confined mostly to Niagara and then parts of eastern Ontario as well.
Okay, what is it that's going to, Anthony, determine whether it's 4 or 10 centimeters? Is it wind, prevailing winds, and just the
weight of the water
system,
brings
how
it
long
down.
it hangs over us?
Yeah, that is definitely part of it. We're going to see north winds throughout the morning tomorrow, and this is one of those occasions with those systems that has a very sharp cutoff. So you're either in the snow band or as you go up towards Aurora, Newmarket, we're not expecting a whole lot of anything. So it's a fine line, and
go further north, there's no snow.
Draw in some dry air. So it's really a question of, okay, does this thing move an extra 20 kilometers north, and do we see that higher amount, or does it? Right now, the way I'm seeing it is that we just are on the fringe for areas around the lake.
All right. Well, the good news is I do remember where I put my parka, and I will dig it out for tomorrow, and maybe we'll be digging out of upwards of 10 centimeters or so. We will find out then. Mr. Furnell, good to speak as always, and we'll see you tonight at 5:30.
10 years.
Good to speak to you, Jeff. And for those that took their snow tires off, if you just wait till afternoon, you'll be okay on the roads tomorrow.
Okay, good to know. Thanks again, Anthony. Global's Chief Meteorologist Anthony Furnell with us here this afternoon on that winter travel advisory for tomorrow morning during the rush hour. Okay, before we go, we got a couple of minutes here, and one of my dreams really is to host a game show. I've always wanted to be a game show host. One of my favorite games is the Wheel of Fortune, and Pat Sajak, who is he has hosted that show now. I'm trying to think, because do you remember Chuck Woolery used to host Wheel of Fortune? No? Mary, do you remember Chuck Woolery at all?
I do.
Yeah. I think he was the original host, and then maybe, early 80s, Pat Sajak took over, and he's been the host, he and Vanna White, ever since. Well, a bit of a slip-up by Pat Sajak. You would think by now he'd have this gig down. He'd know what he's doing. He'd have it down cold. But a bit of a slip-up yesterday during the bonus round where they put the puzzle up for that one contestant, and they can guess so many consonants and vowels, and they have to figure out what the puzzle is. Well, have a listen to what happened the other night on Wheel.
This better be good.
Yikes. Well, I'd rather be standing here than there.
Did you hear what you said?
I did, right after I said it. I wonder how many people at home caught it, but in setting up the thing, there weren't many letters up there, and I said, I'd rather be here than there, quite frankly, which was the puzzle. But it goes to show you that people are concentrating and not paying any attention to me. And he didn't get it, but no reason he should, just based on that. But it's funny what your mind will, what your mouth will say that your brain says you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you are not supposed to use the phrase, Pat, that is up there that the contestant vying for tens of thousands of dollars is trying to guess.
Unbelievable. I'm gobsmacked. I mean, a professional like that. But it really is a testament to those of us who work in, whether we're game show hosts or talk show hosts or whatever.
Does he know what the answer is before? Like, does he look at his piece of paper before they start guessing?
Air. So pronunciation of a name. Don't pronounce it wrong, because then you might end up saying the name incorrectly, and the list goes on. But he had the answer right in front of him.
Yeah, how would you feel if you were the contestant and you found that out afterwards and you still didn't get the puzzle?
The Matrix.
I'd feel worse than the host. I would.
Yeah. Oh, well, anyways, fun moment there on Wheel of Fortune from the other night. And that'll do it for us here on this Tuesday. Thanks, as always, for your time.
See, he's got the shift where he's supposed to keep you working. And then right about now, the rush hour people take over. And they're going to sympathize with you. They're going to bitch about traffic just like you would. All right, let's see if they're probably...
About her struggles with sobriety.
I relapsed. Not proud of it, but I am back on track.
In a candid video posted to her Instagram story yesterday, Kelly reveals that she's recently relapsed.
Is this a famous person? Because I'm not sure if I want to know. We'll fucking die.
After that, record peace.
It'll be a while. Rockers. I go harder than a loaded bin. They should have locked me in a psych word. Instead I'm in the world and shit is awkward. Keep my head up like Tupac by enemies like Malcolm. We dream like Martin. I despise your intelligence. You don't make sense. You're an MC without purpose, a circus, you're a clown, fuck the ground, I rock proud, money dog. Hey, yeah, the heartfelt shit, yeah, the heartfelt shit, check it. These days I'm on empty, so don't fuck with them, yo. I'ma make it there eventually. It's these cruel intentions, not to mention got me clenching. My chest hurt from the stress. These days I'm venting. Poetry healing these wounds that I once contained. Serenity fell, fed off these raps that I bring. These words help me escape. I say fuck a therapist. I hate mankind. I'm against all like a terrorist. In the arms of security, stolen away. Death stealing loved ones led my soul astray. Reflect my past, so you see this life's been good. Chose correctively, even when pressured by the hood. I put my hands on steel, coke, the rock, and the slates before the wake, cause I didn't need my life to be in decay. Some say it's the choices you make, and they do seal your fate. Either you're dead, one in the head, or in jail you pace. Reflection and regret in your course of fucking action. Fed off sin, ego, and your love and your passion. Infractions you said melted your soul down to nothing less. A shell of life patiently waiting for the time of death. I made choices that have been good, ones that have been bad. You see how I'm living, so you know that I'm glad. I'm proud to say I'm steady and my life is set. I live like there's no tomorrow, I'll never hold regrets, so don't hold your breath. Yeah, I never hold regrets, don't hold your breath. Yeah. These days I'm on empty. Jump in the water, speed that flow, don't go against that flow, speed that flow, speed that flow, jump in that water, speed that flow, don't go against that flow, speed that flow, just jump in that water, be that flow, just be that flow, jump in that water, be that flow, just be that flow, don't go against it, dog, be that flow, jump in that water, yeah. Be that flow, just be that flow, be that flow, jump in that water, be that flow, just be that flow, yeah. Don't go against it, be that flow, be that flow, don't go against it, be that flow, jump in that water, be that flow. Slice a piece up in the Dutch pot, curry chicken on the stove top, shadow niggas from the stove top, niggas talk but send a gunshots, fly actions up from my pictures hood, the taste run down but it's shitting good, shout out niggas at a drip foot, the shit's way beyond drip blood. Toronto born and raised, Toronto born and raised. They was never ready, every single day you would be amazed. Living how we live, young niggas grinding stuck up in a maze. Told my nigga Charlie we can get this money making different ways. We don't call it no shit, we ain't calling no bitch. But I got a full clip and I better no rich. Cause you better with bit, and they get it with kids. You know that I snitch. Lift them up, however.
They told us the one mobile health unit they went out and seen it's set up because it looks like what do you say? It's a bunch of tents. It's essentially like a military base. They've got 20 beds. They'll eventually have it ready for 100 beds.